Chidera was known as the pride of her family, the first daughter to go to university, the one meant to lift her parents from poverty. Her mother often said with conviction, "Education is the oil that will fry our suffering," and everyone in the family believed it. They were not rich, but they had hope, the kind of stubborn village hope that wakes you before dawn and keeps you walking even when your body aches. Her father farmed the rocky land behind the hills. Her mother sold cassava and palm oil in the market. Her younger siblings, Kelechi and Ogechi, fetched water for neighbors to earn small coins. Everything revolved around Chidera's schooling, her books, her transport, her hostel fees. When she gained admission to the University of Lagos, the whole compound celebrated. Drums beat, women danced, and old men nodded proudly, saying, "This girl will bring a light to this family." At first, Chidera did not disappoint. She studied hard, called home every Sunday, and sent small money whenever she could. Her mother's heart swelled each time she heard her voice on the phone. The laughter, the city stories, the dreams. But Lagos, that restless city, swallows people differently. The first signs came quietly, a missed call here, a forgotten Sunday there. Then the money stopped coming. Her mother prayed, believing her daughter must be busy, but the silence grew like weeds. One evening, Kelechi returned from Lagos with heavy eyes. He had gone there to learn a trade, but what he saw troubled him. "Mama," he said slowly, "Chidera no longer lives where she used to. People say she has changed friends, big friends." Her mother frowned. "Big friends? You mean rich people?" Kelechi hesitated. "Yes, very rich. But not all riches are clean." That night, sleep refused to visit her mother. She sat outside under the moonlight, her wrapper tied tight around her chest, thinking of her daughter, the little girl who once cried when her sandals tore, who swore she would buy her mother a big house someday. What had Lagos done to her? Rumors soon drifted back to the village like harmattan dust. People said Chidera now drove a sleek car, wore foreign wigs, and lived in an apartment where the walls breathed air conditioning. They said she no longer answered her mother's calls. Some whispered that she had found a Lagos sponsor. Others said she had joined a certain group. Each word stabbed at her mother's heart, but she refused to believe. "My Chidera cannot forget her home. She is not that kind of girl," she told anyone who cared to listen. 2 years passed, then suddenly, word spread that Chidera was coming home. The news swept through the village like wildfire. Children whispered it on the way to the stream. Old women gossiped while peeling cassava. Everyone was curious to see the Lagos lady who once sold roasted corn in Agu market. When the car finally appeared, a black SUV that glittered under the afternoon sun, the villagers gathered, staring in awe. The door opened and Chidera stepped out. She was beautiful in the kind of way that hurt to look at. Tall heels, designer dress, long painted nails. Her accent rolled like soft butter. "Mama," she called, smiling faintly. Her mother ran to her, tears in her eyes, but the hug was brief, almost formal. Chidera looked around, her face tightening. "Mama, you people still live like this?" she said quietly, her voice lined with disappointment. The words pierced deeper than any insult. Her mother forced a smile. "My daughter, we thank God you are doing well." That night, Chidera gave her mother an envelope filled with thick bundles of cash. "Mama, use this to build a new house," she said. "You deserve better." Her mother held the envelope but felt something strange, a heaviness in her chest she could not name. She noticed the men who had accompanied Chidera, men with dark glasses and restless eyes, men who watched every movement like hawks. When they spoke, their voices were low and sharp, like knives cutting through cloth. That night, after everyone slept, Chidera's mother knelt by her mat and prayed, "God of Agu, wherever this money came from, let it not be our destruction." Days later, the whispers began again, this time louder, uglier. News spread that Chidera's Lagos friend had been arrested in a money laundering case. The police came searching for others involved, and soon they arrived in Agu. The day they came, her mother was pounding yam when she heard the rumble of engines. Officers poured out of their vehicles and surrounded the compound. Chidera froze, her hands trembling. "Mama," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. "I just wanted to make life better for us. Everyone in Lagos said money is respect." Her mother's pestle dropped to the ground. She could barely speak. "My daughter," she said finally, her voice breaking. "You forgot. Respect built with shame is already broken." They took Chidera away that evening. The whole village watched in silence as the black SUV disappeared down the dusty road. Some shook their heads, others whispered prayers. But her mother only stood still, her eyes fixed on the fading trail of dust. Months later, after her release, Chidera returned home quietly. No car, no entourage, no foreign clothes, just a small bag and tired eyes. She walked through the village path and people stared, some with pity, some with judgment. When she reached the compound, her mother was washing cassava at the backyard. The moment she saw her daughter, she dropped the bowl and ran to her. They held each other without words, tears mixing with the scent of the wet earth. The next morning, Chidera went to the stream. The water was cool, clear, and calm, not like the city water that came from pipes. She filled a small calabash, one with a crack along the side, and carried it home carefully. "Mama," she said softly, setting it down. "This calabash is cracked, but it can still hold the water if handled with care. So am I." Her mother cupped her daughter's face in her hands. "My daughter," she whispered, "it's not how far you've gone, it's what you carry home." And that evening, as the sun sank behind the Agu hills, mother and daughter sat by the fire, roasting corn the way they used to. No cars, no glamour, only the sound of laughter returning, steady and real. That day, Agu saw something more beautiful than wealth, a prodigal heart returning to peace.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share.